Splish splash, I was taking a bath, and I noticed I had beautiful balls. Our friends at Manscaped, the global leaders in below-the-waist hygiene, are turning men's shower dreams into their favorite routine with the new Ultra Premium Collection. This all-in-one hygiene skin and hair bundle is designed to upgrade the everyday man's shower routine from head to toe. Your skin, hair, and balls deserve this. Save big by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping with the code CUPODCAST.
Let me walk you through the Manscaped shower routine.
Do it, Ian.
All right, step by step. Step 1, lather on the cologne-infused Ultra Premium Body Wash with aloe vera and sea salt to keep your skin feeling clean and moisturized all day. Not sure if you heard that correctly, but this body wash is cologne-infused, so that special someone in your life will absolutely love it. Step 2, it's hair care time. Apply the 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner that cleans and nourishes in one step. The non-greasy formula has a base of coconut water, green tea, aloe, turmeric, and sage. Step 3, once you hop out of the shower, protect yourself from BO by applying the Manscaped aluminum-free deodorant. This deodorant dries clear and is also cologne-infused. Step 4, you got tattoos, dry skin? Let's hit your skin with that hydrating body moisturizing spray. Step 5, apply the Manscaped lip balm. This is a free gift when you purchase the Ultra Premium Collection. Last but not least, we're using the Lawnmower 4.0 electric trimmer to clean off any unwanted body hair. The Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof, so you bet it's a major key to the new shower routine. Although your balls might look like punching bags, don't treat them like one and benefit from the proprietary skin-safe technology. This new bundle will change your life, and I want all of my listeners out there to live their best lives.
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code CUPODCAST at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code CUPODCAST at manscaped.com. It's time to get wet and clean with your new Manscaped shower routine. We got voicemails, Ian.
We do.
Where do you go? Anchor.fm/CU podcast. You go, you play voicemails, and you have fun there. Try to keep them short and sweet unless there's a extenuating circumstances, like maybe this one right here that we start off with.
And now, an excerpt from the Intellivision Amico Club on Facebook, and I quote, "Imagine how having Amico on the market would increase the quality of all games. I bet the other consoles would find challenging to compete with the passion of the Amico developers. Some may laugh or say I troll here. No! Imagine competing with the games like before that are made of 110% pure passion. They can have 50 million budget. I bet on the 4 devs making a game for the Amico. It may sound surreal, but it's true. Just honest here where my bet is for best game." End quote. This has been an excerpt from the Intellivision Amico Club on Facebook.
When you think about how far this was allowed to get, and you're like, how does that happen? Because there's people like that left comments like that exist.
Yes.
That are marks that allowed this to get to a point where in any rational world it would never get to.
They have convinced themselves that Shark is a cultural milestone.
Yes. It's their Animal Crossing, Ian.
Yes.
It's going to be enjoyed by 50 million people are going to play. They literally think things like that. It's bizarre, but that's true. There's posts like that. There was one that said like Pat Contry, Amico isn't just a console; it's an idea, and you can't just
kill ideas.
You can't kill an idea or something like that. It's
it was a really dumb quote to begin with. I saw that.
I don't have to kill anything. The market's deciding to kill it.
Yeah,
I don't have to do anything myself. The market has decided that it shouldn't exist.
The market has spoken,
or excuse me, or especially the investors have decided that. All right, what's the next one here?
Pat, Ian, this is Matt from Rochester, New York again. Ian, I know it's kind of after the fact, but since you've told them before you left the store, any other run-ins with some past tales from the game store people like the Odd Family, some of the old couples, or even Milkman? Thanks, guys. See ya.
No, I haven't really run into any of like the old stranger customers because honestly, a lot of those customers were residents of the neighborhood that those stores were in. And I don't live near either of the stores. When the stores were in Ocean Beach, I saw a lot of those people every day. But
the Inventor.
Huh?
The Inventor.
The Inventor. Actually, I only saw him once. Mark S. So no, I have not run into any of those people. sadly.
Hey, Pat and Ian. This is your weird friend from Canada named Peter. He's got a question for you. Well, I do. Anyways, are there any video games that you think that you've played that were just so terrible they should be removed from history?
What, erased from existence? I don't know about that.
Weird friend Peter. No, I haven't. I haven't played anything that was bad enough that I'd need it removed from history, because it's kind of fun to marvel at a bad game. Nothing that I've been like. That's too much focusing on the negative and not enough on the positive. If I'm playing a bad game, I go, I can play a more fun game. Not, I need to eradicate this.
I don't think we need a digital book burning there.
Yeah.
I think art should exist, bad or good.
Hey, Pat. Hey, Ian. This is Eric from Missouri. In regards to an episode that was released a couple of weeks ago, you had both stated that you hadn't seen any of the Wisdom Tree games for sale out in the wild when you were kids. I have, and where I've noticed them is at the Christian bookstores. I grew up in a small town in Arkansas, and my family is religious, and we would go to the Christian bookstore in our local mall, and that's where I saw the Bible games being sold.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you're in the Bible Belt, there's a lot more of those Christian bookstores. Where I grew up in Central Jersey, there was one one I knew of off Route 1, not far from the Toys R Us. If you grew up in Central Jersey, you know what I'm talking about. Never went in there, because why would you? Because we didn't. It's weird we talk about that. I grew up Catholic, went to Catholic school, never would dream of going in a Christian bookstore still. Just was something we didn't do.
Yeah.
So they might have sold them there. They probably did.
I never saw them for sale. However, what I don't think I ever mentioned was that I did see them available for rent. Because I did play them as a kid. Like I actually played a couple of those, including Spiritual Warfare. I played it as a kid because my buddy's family was religious. They went to church every Sunday, and they had like a little, I would call it like a little Christian reading room or something like that. Okay. You know, like in the church. And because I remember my buddy pointing him out to me. He's like, oh, this is where I rent them from. And there was like 4 or 5 Wisdom Tree games in a glass case, and you had to get someone and be like, can I...
You said this was at the church?
This was at the church. Okay, and, you'd borrow it for the week and then take it back to church the next week when you dropped it off. But they weren't for sale. They were just for rent. They were just for rent. I never did see them for sale.
Christian NES rentals.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's all they had. They just had the Wisdom Tree games.
I found my blue... Once I started going on TSR's NES Archive and discovering about these games, I couldn't believe it. I knew I was searching for them. I was like, okay, these Wisdom Tree games exist. I had no idea, obviously. I found one at a Funkoland in Jersey, a baby blue one. I saw it on the shelf, and I was shocked. So, obviously, people got them in Jersey.
The blue harder to find or easier to find?
It's about... I think it's actually easier to find it than the black one because it's different shape.
Yeah, I think the blue one came into Luna more often. I mean, the black one always came in too, but I think the blue one was more common.
Okay, next one here.
Hi Pat, hi Ian. Mick here from Glasgow, Scotland. Quick message mainly aimed at Ian, but of course Pat, feel free to weigh in. So we all know that Streets Rage 4 is an amazing game, but we can't quite call it the best game of all time until one character returns. And Ian, how do we get Skate back in now that Cherry's taking his quick character role and without him feeling like a 90s product placement?
You're laughing at that. What did he say exactly?
Skate.
That Cherry's taking his quick character role and without him feeling like a 90s product placement. Cheers, guys. All the best.
Is that the one on the rollerblades?
Yeah, Skate's
okay.
Literally. His name's Skate.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Come on, Pat.
I'm making sure, Ian.
Connect the dots.
I connected them.
As Vincent D'Onofrio used to say in the ad for Law and Order Criminal Intent. He held up the pickle. Connect the dots.
What a great show the first few years.
Yeah. Oh, I loved watching Super Sleuth D'Onof. That's great.
Sorry, go on.
That's it. Oh yeah, I mean Skate's great. I would love to see. I would love to see Skate in it. I don't think we're gonna get anything more for 4. I would love to see an announcement for Streets Rage 5 though.
Hi Ian and Pat, it's Aaron from Durham in the UK again. I just wondered if you think there is a stigma collecting and playing retro games compared to modern releases. I think the trend in mini consoles has helped a bit to make classic games a little bit more mainstream. However, I've noticed when I mention collecting is my hobby and invite friends and colleagues to retro games nights, I do get the odd belittling response, suggesting a man of my age should leave his youth in the past. I just wondered if you've both experienced anything similar, and if you ever question what you do as a hobby. Personally, I think old games are like old films. Yes, there are better special effects with modern films, but you still can't beat what you know and love.
Here's the thing. We take for granted that most people we know are into what we are into, but yes, the vast majority of the world would look at us like for retro games like as an oddity or like question it. And when I go to family,
Well, so he's talking about retro game players compared to modern game.
Sure.
I do.
but it's the same thought process.
Clearly, though, there are. I mean, all you have to do is look on Twitter because there's always those people looking for attention. But there are clearly people who think video games are for children and should be left in the past. However, I do think that I don't think there is a stigma anymore. But there was a point in time where, yes, playing old video games literally got me made fun of in high school, and I remember getting made fun of in public once at a GameStop for going through the NES games by someone who was buying like something for the PS2 or something. So yes, there did used to be people who would like look down upon you within the video game playing and collecting community. They'd look down on you for doing the retro games. Now I think that's less of a thing. I think video game players, I think, you know, people who are into games are into games, and I think that's a lot. I think it's a big hug of a group. But yes, there are obviously people out there who are going to tell you that video games are a waste of time, and to them I say fuck them.
Is that an untold tale from a game store? Not your game store.
No.
Damn it.
Nope.
You never told me that story before. You got made fun of in a GameStop?
I thought I made it. Yeah, so I was in high school and some kid was like, "Oh, looking at the fucking Nintendo games, huh?" And I told him to eat shit, and then he bought his fucking Madden or whatever the hell it was.
What year was that?
This would have been 99 or 2000, yeah.
It wasn't even that old. It was like 8 years old.
Yeah.
You know, 9, 10 years old.
Nintendo games.
Should have fought him in the parking lot.
Yeah, I should have.
Should have done that. That's funny as hell. What was I going to say?
I don't know.
Yeah, I forget.
Hey guys, this is Brian from Utah. Just calling with a fun question for you guys.
We'll be the judge.
My wife works at a senior center where seniors can come from throughout the community and get lunch and participate in some activities like boggle, billiards, pottery, and quilting.
Ooh.
Now, my question is, things are going to be different in the future for us. What does the completely unnecessary elderly folks home look like? Thanks. Bye.
So 40 years from now,
Wii Bowling, Little Mario.
I don't think it's going to be Wii Bowling.
No.
It'd be Switch Bowling or whatever the Super Switch Bowling is.
Instead of quilting, Perler bead art will be the big thing.
Where's my duck hunt dog?
Perler bead art will be big.
Look what I did in Norway. Look what I did in Norway.
You did that in Norway?
Yeah.
I did a good job.
Thank you, Ian. Wow, Ian complimented me. Better than my dad complimenting me. Yeah, I mean, obviously there'll be some video games. People still play board games. Board games are always popular. That's like universal. People love playing board games. It just
especially word games. They keep your head sharp. They're easy to learn.
So we'll be playing Wordle when we're 80.
Yeah.
When's that fad gonna end? Is that gonna end? Is that gonna be off my Twitter fucking anytime soon?
No, and I think it won't because it's hard to get burnt out on it if you play it. It's a fun word game. You turn it on, you play it for 5 minutes, you shut it off.
That's awesome. I don't need to see you sharing your failures or wins.
Then use the mute function.
Okay. I'm gonna start muting all my friends, Ian.
Mute the word Wordle. You can mute words.
Oh, I know you mute Wordle. What if like something happens where there's like a Senator Wordle? I want Senator Wordle.
It's the risk you're gonna take.
The risk I'm gonna take. Next one from Tanner.
Hey, Pat and Ian. This is Tanner from Tennessee.
Tanner.
So my question is, have you ever had a game that you like to play during a specific time of year or season, whatever? For me, it's Mother 1, a.k.a. Earthbound Beginnings, around Christmas time, because the first time I ever played it was I emulated it around Christmas of 2009, and since then that entire series has become one of my favorites, and I always associated the first game with the Christmas season because of that, and I always try to play it around that time of year. So, thanks, guys. Love the show. Bye.
I don't know exactly why, but I used to always, back home in Buffalo, living on my own, I would always start up like a new Dragon Warrior 1 game whenever the snow would fall.
Oh, okay.
Generally. I don't know why. I think because I just liked the snow outside, get the windows open so I could see the snow, throw the game on, put music on, and I used to run through that game pretty frequently, and it always seemed to be when it was snowy out. But no, I don't think there's any games that I particularly play, by season. other than that one.
It's weird out that freaking Super Nintendo Days Before Christmas game. Every time around Christmas, I'm going to think about that game. Obviously, it's a Christmas game, but that I did that freaking video and got it out literally 2 hours before my flight was leaving to go back home before the pandemic. I visited my parents right before the pandemic, and something told me to go see them. Not saying I'm psychic, but sometimes a little bit. And that's always around Christmas. I think about that dumb game now and that haunting soundtrack. Did you ever see that video, Ian?
No.
Okay, next one. We'll do a couple more.
Hey, Pat and Ian. This is Pat from New York.
Hey, Pat from New York.
My question for you guys is, had the COVID pandemic not happened, what market position would Nintendo find themselves in today? Or what percentage of their success do you believe they would have achieved? Thanks, guys. Keep up the great work.
It's always tough to quantify that since it was doing well for the first few years. It got a shot in the arm.
Yeah, it's not like it was doing bad and then COVID came along and it suddenly did great. It was doing well.
It basically put it out of stock again, right? It was
Exactly.
Put out of stock again for like a year. It's tough to quantify. Maybe they would have lost 25, 30%. I don't know. Like I have no idea. It's so hard to quantify something like that.
It's tough. The system was selling at a fast enough rate. It was always in stores, but like you said, when COVID hit, it drained it again. And they didn't get a lot of units. They didn't get a ton of units out to meet that new demand. So I don't know that they really lost.
Well, the factories were shut down for at least 2-3 months.
Right. So they lost sales, but I don't know that they really gained a whole lot because they didn't have the stuff to sell. Do you get what I'm saying? They didn't have the stuff to sell. I think it would be less, but I don't think it would necessarily be drastically less for systems. However, I think there are certain games with sales numbers that absolutely, we already talked about this earlier. There are definitely games. I think games saw a huge boost in sales numbers, and there are probably a lot of people that if you look at people who bought the Switch during the pandemic, they probably have more games with that system than the average person who buys a system with games.
You think so? They went out and bought like 3, 4, 5 games immediately?
Instead of maybe 1 or 2 to keep themselves occupied. So I think games probably experienced a definite bump in numbers, but it's tough to say with the system because it's not like they immediately had those systems to sell to fill the demand.
You had a stimulus, a couple of stimuli that helped. People had more money to spend, and some of the money could have went towards that right there. Sales per, there's a little, I looked up Switch attach rate, Ian. If you Google that, you can see the top result, and there's actually a little scale there for the time period of sales per hardware.
7.4.
7.4?
Yeah. So 7 games per system purchased.
Is now.
Is now, yes.
So,
well, I don't know. I'm looking. That is from February 3rd, 2022. Yeah.
Okay. So that might have been bumped because of the pandemic by a couple.
Yeah. That's
not bad. Like almost 8.
Yeah, that's pretty good, actually.
That's pretty good.
I think on average it's usually like 5, I think is what they say.
It's pretty good. So there you have it. Obviously, there's some digital titles that are less money, but they probably don't count I don't know if they count the cheaper stuff versus the heavy hitters for that. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But all right, well, do you want to check in with
Yeah, let's check in.
With someone else here?
Oh, God. Thanks a lot for meeting with me, Tony.
No problem, Tommy.
I don't know who else to talk to. Everything is falling apart now. We're just bleeding money. We can't do anything with what we have. And you're not recording this, are you?
No, I'm not recording nothing, Tommy.
Okay, you better not be, because this is a quiet period for me, Tony. All right? I am being quiet right now.
I know, I could see that.
And that deal with Sadesh, that's gotta be one of the worst deals ever made. Like, I feel like the New York Mets, and he's Bobby Bonilla. I mean, there's just no question who the sucker was. And I was not in my right mind. He knew I wasn't. He knew I was out all night with Miyamoto-san, and I was really fucked up. He knew it, and he preyed on me when I was at my most vulnerable. I'm sorry, are you laughing right now?
No, I'm not laughing.
Son of a bitch, you are recording this.
No, I'm not.
Tony.
Pat, that pasta you were asking about is Mezzi Rigatoni.
What?
What? Hey, Tony, thanks for that.
What did he say?
Mezzi Rigatoni. That's the pasta I was talking about last week. Thank you, Tony, for that and for that candid conversation. Wow, things are getting rough between the cousins there.
Yeah, it is.
Things are getting rough there.